Oh my god, I'm getting so lost in this place. There's trash everywhere, there are dogs trying to eat me, and this car hasn't freaking moved like all day. Like, come on, pal, I got places to be. I swear to God, at this point, I will not take a crumb, not a bite, but a morsel if I want to enjoy this place.
Oh my god, Lois, I'm so full, my tummy's so big, oh my god.
Hello everyone, today we're going to be talking about the newest roguelike on the scene, Morsels, created by Furcula and published by Annapurna Interactive. This game caught my eye at the time when I was doom scrolling through social media, and I remembered the one day that it released and now I'm playing it. That's pretty much the story. Also, this is before the iron grip of Monty New Vegas to hell and back again gets me, and I miss my next deadline for a video. So, let's make this new year great before it goes into the dumpster. Let's get this journey started. For the story, I think I'll sit back and relax and let the world of Morsels speak for itself. At the end of the day, it's the story that isn't important, but you can already see from the visuals that this world is turning into something really good. Speaking of which, let's get the obvious out of the way. This game's visual style is fantastic. Using a combination of voxel art, pixel art, and 3D, this game just oozes personality through its color palette. The way that everything melds together and morphs like it's just some kind of substance. I know that within the roguelike scene, it's easy to dog on the pixel art style just because it's so overused, but this is one of the few exceptions where I would say that it is worth it to at least see that in all the other styles going forward. Like I said, there's a mix of everything here, and it's just beautiful to look at, especially with its darker colors and especially for its color palette aiding towards the more dreamlike aesthetic. But next up is the soundtrack, done by Sam Webster, and unironically it's now become one of my favorite soundtracks to listen to in the background while I'm doing editing for videos. It's a mix of jazz, guitars, lo-fi synths, and other kind of weirdish sounds. You never seen that one clip on TikTok where it's that guy that's playing that weird gloppy synth? Yeah, this is what this game kind of feels like with its soundtrack, but in the best way possible. Additionally, when I was discussing it with another friend, the music reminded me of Felix Colgrave. It's the guy who did these animations, by the way, and it's one of the best things I can say about this game and the soundtrack. I'm playing the soundtrack in the background throughout the video, but here's some standout tracks if you are not convinced yet. Getting into the gameplay loop, this game is very easy to control. You have basic movement with WASD, shooting with arrow keys, and dodging with space. The only thing you're missing is a gun that you can kill the past, and a sequel that's never going to live up to the original, and you're good to go. Each character also has a special offensive ability that can be used. For example, Flowsy explodes into a circle of spores, while Fleasel uses a rapid barrage of shots while being uncontrollable in the air. In addition, each one starts off with a unique passive that can affect the environmental projectiles. I can't say them all, which I will talk about more on later, but it really spices up the gameplay of thinking how you know a character inside and out, only for it to change when you pick them up later. Speaking of which, you will start with a random morsel each time, but we have to talk about the life cycle about these guys. So eventually, one of them will die. This means a couple of things. They will either succumb to some kind of event or be shot, or they will level up so much that they will ascend from being just a mere morsel. This is where the fast-paced approach appears when it was talking about the game's description. Along with your journey, you will find multiple locations on the map of each level where you can pick up new morsels to add or replace to your collection. While you can hold a max of 3 each, you can choose wisely to see what you're good with and what you're bad with. This kind of gameplay mechanic, as far as I can tell, is really the first of its kind to do within a roguelike, but I haven't really played much, so I'm probably limiting myself with this. This almost Pokemon-esque collecting and swapping makes the set more like a twin-stick shooter, but it has become surprisingly fun in the gameplay loop and has made me play this game for almost 50 hours, which is pretty good for a first-time game, especially with the enemy variety being themed to each area and the enemies in general. They can be gun-wielding rats, disfigured dogs, and many other little guys and doodads that can pack a punch. Great enemy variety and projectiles to dodge, and usually, while it isn't something like bullet hell, it can get pretty tricky from time to time if you're in an enclosed space. Besides that, there are 4 worlds with multiple bonus stages that the morsels can go through: the city, Trash Island, the woods, and then heaven for some reason. And you can take it up with the head honchos of this gross world that was talked about in the intro. Speaking of which, the bosses. Each boss is the same from the time of writing this, but each one can have 2 separate transformations that can spice up the gameplay a little bit. I wouldn't say there are any that are not manageable, but by the time that I get to the 3rd boss or 2nd boss, I usually have a run going, have a morsel that can basically just tank most of the damage and basically shred the health. Though I will say these are very cool designs nonetheless. The last thing I can go over is the currency and abilities that you can pick up along the way. Cheese bits, or morsels in this case, are things that you can pick up during your quest by hitting random garbage, destroying cheese, and just killing enemies. Usually these are used in shops or other areas that you can just use to purchase upgrades or passives for your morsels. And especially, one of the main highlights of the game is the intermissions. This basically entails you finding a random NPC that will give you a trade or some kind of activity to do for extra cheese bits. This can be something like a rabbit stuck inside of an alligator playing a classic Game Boy game, you have Ringo Starr in the back alley of Britain, or something even more nonsensical like talking trash. All these are nice, and while there aren't enough in my opinion, each one does pack a unique gimmick that can also help you along the way. So that's pretty much it. So is this going to be your next new favorite roguelike that was buried in the plethora of new releases from last year? Maybe, I don't know. Okay, look, I really do like this game, but there are some flaws that do weigh it down. And I can understand why there is a mostly positive review sitting on Steam, with most of them now being mixed coming in from the Steam Winter Sale. One of the first big things is mainly just telling what an item or something does. This game is cryptic, and I do agree that many roguelikes do follow this fashion just because you need stuff to explore, but one of the things I still don't really know, especially with a game that hasn't really formed its own community yet, is I don't know what many of these abilities are. Like, there's this merchant that you can pick from, and it usually tells you after, but I don't know how many I can stack, I don't know what I should be getting. There are some that are just plain cryptic, and it's for no good reason. And this also applies to the items. You can view them in your inventory by holding tab, but seeing them in like a shop or something like that, and you're not even being able to see what the descriptor of it is kind of whack. But, you may say, isn't there a manual? Yes, there is. And at first glance, it's lovely. It has a bunch of stuff that usually tells you about the morsels and bosses and things that you have to do in the game, like an achievement guide. But that's it. It's pretty much just a codex for your characters that you play as, and that's about it. So to maybe get rid of this fog wall of ideas and information, I would say have a catalog or a separate book that shows what items and abilities do so a newer player can pick it up quickly. I made the comparison earlier, but the Ammonomicon for Enter the Gungeon is a perfect fit for stuff like this. Maybe for morsels it could be more like a newspaper or a shopping catalog so you actually know what it is, and it has a unique flair. And lastly, while there are these all cool visuals and flair, some of the environments do quickly wear out their welcome. This is a game that really should have launched in early access, but I know that probably from the publisher they didn't want to have that tag on a game that looks so nice. I still love stuff like the city, and there's still enough detail to keep me interested, and I still do love its art style. But there is a point where you're like, okay, this is all the same 3 areas that I'm constantly going through, and it doesn't feel like there's enough content. Maybe in a few updates and a few major DLCs, maybe they can do something with it, but I am unsure, because it is up to them if they want to continue this path. But at the end of this, I don't want to end negative, and even though it's not flawless, Morsels is pretty much worth your time for the soundtrack and art style alone. While the gameplay is repetitive and familiar, it doesn't have to be anything that's reinventing the wheel. If anything, like I said, the art style I want to see an art book of. It's so good. And hey, along with updates and them adding new morsels with almost every patch, more content will hopefully be added soon, and there'll be more enjoyment to go back into this game for me. I would recommend it at standard price just because I like to support indie devs in times of need, but I would also not mind if this game went on sale like with the one we just got. Once again, I really do appreciate that the devs have made something in their vision and they've gotten a publisher behind it, but I hope they can really stick the landing with the next few patches to keep me engaged. Besides that, I'm probably going to explore something in the streets some more, so tune in next week where I talk about Hunt Showdown again? I don't really know. I haven't planned that far ahead yet. Anyways, Happy New Year, everybody. And I hope that... Oh my god, come on, man. You cannot keep appearing here. I am so fucking small. How did you find...